Hi, once again this is Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker. On this quick start tutorial we're going to go through Terraforming the Druidic Craft, a terrain manipulation game by Nancy Hutchins. Let's begin with the components. The terrain cards make up the board of the game. In a standard game you only need the first 36 cards. These cards are all double-sided with 2 different terrains. There are several different terrain types plus a special card, the Mystical Void card. A card's current state is the card's face upside when it's on the board. The smaller icon within the image of the terrain tells the players what kind of terrain is on the other side. There are 5 playable druids in the game, each having a terrain advantage and a unique ability. Alana the Thunder Druid immediately draws a card when she gets displaced. Vashir the Mountain Druid is not affected by offensive attacks. Radnook the Druid of the Desert draws an additional spell card on his turn if he doesn't use a move action. Balmora, the Forest Druid, gains another spell card on her turn if she does not cast a standard spell. And Shayhorn, the Water Druid, allows her to gain an additional move action when she displaces an opponent's token. The goal cards in this game tells the player what is needed to be done in order to win. The most common goal among the cards are arranging terrain cards in a specific shape or alignment. All goal cards are kept secret until the player has completed it. There are many types of goal cards, and players may replace their goals several times in the game for a new one. Spell cards help players in the game to achieve their goal. Some of these types of spell cards manipulate the board, throw off opponents, and in many ways help you out. Unlike standard spell actions, players may play many spell cards on a turn. To set up a game with Terraforming, you first need to set up the board. If playing the 5x5 board, then remove the cards from 37 to 48. Shuffle these cards, and then place them in a 5x5 figure with a random side face up. Next, form the market off to the side. Draw and place 3 cards in a row and place the rest of the cards forming a deck next to it. Randomly deal out a druid card to all players and give out their corresponding druid token. Next, shuffle the goal and spell cards. Give all players 2 gold cards to start. Then every player selects one and return the other to the bottom of the deck. Keep in mind that all gold cards are kept hidden from other players until a player has completed it. Then deal out 2 cards from the top of the spell deck to all players face down. Before beginning the game, a random player is selected to start. To do this, all players roll an 8-sided die. The player with the highest results go first. Finally, in reverse order starting with the last player, players place their druid token on one of the cards on the terrain board edge. Alright, it's time to play. Gameplay starts with the first player and then continues clockwise in several turns until a goal has been reached. On a player's turn, they may take several actions. There are 3 main types of actions players can take and may take them in any order: move, standard spell, and using spell cards. There are also free actions players can take. However, players are limited to using 1 move and 1 standard spell action each turn. Move actions are the main way players are able to travel around the board. When using a move action, there are 3 options. The player may move their token from a terrain card to an adjacent one. They can move off to the board and move to the terrain card on the opposite side. If a player's token is displaced, starting off the board, they must enter on a terrain card of the edge of the board or place their token in the terrain card of their druid's favor. Please note that normal movement in this game is only orthogonal. Standard spells changes the positions and is one of the ways of flipping terrain cards. Using the Transfiguration spell flips the current terrain cards the player is on. Any other druid on this location is immediately displaced and placed off the board. The player who flipped the card is placed back on the same card. The Transmutation spell replaces a card from the market on a player's current position. The player will first place their current tile on the bottom of the market deck. Then they will select a face-up terrain card on the market and place it on the now empty slot. The player may select any side of the terrain they wish to be placed face up. Finally, the player replaces the empty slot of the market with the top card from the deck. Any other player's token in the same position is immediately displaced. The Levitate spell swaps the tile with the current player tiles with another player on a different tile. Player tokens remain on the same card and other players' tokens do not get displaced in this way. As for spell cards, players may play any number of them on a single turn. Some spells are allowed to be played off turn and there is no hand size limit for spells. There are also a number of free actions a player can take. Players may look at the back of any terrain card. Each druid has a move and flip ability that a player can use once a turn. and a player may discard their goal card once a turn to draw a new goal. They discard their current goal, draw 2 cards, keep one, and place the other on the bottom of the deck. Players may pass, meaning not moving, playing spell cards, using standard spells, and any other actions. Doing so adds another spell card to their hand. When a player is done taking actions, their turn ends and they draw a spell card. If a player passes, then they still get to draw a card at the end of the turn. The Mystical Wild tile is a special tile in the game. On the Mystical Wild side, it counts as any terrain towards a gold card. On the other side is the Black Void. Players cannot pass or land on this terrain. In order to win, a player needs to reconfigure specific tiles to meet their goals criteria. Most gold cards will ask the player to put a terrain type next to each other and in a configuration with one tile on the edge. Others will ask for a shape of a diamond. If a gold card is asking for connected terrain cards, it means that the terrain cards need to be adjacent orthogonally, not diagonally unless the card tells you otherwise. Goals that need to be grouped means that cards can be in any shape but must be connected. If a player draws a gold card that requires a 6x6 game board and the current game is played on a 5x5 board, then the player may simply discard the card out of the game and draw a new one. If a player reaches their goal, the player immediately flips their gold card and show that they have won. This concludes the tutorial for a standard game. If you'd like to change up your game a bit, try these variants. If you like to play with a larger board, simply add the rest of the cards and create a 6x6 board. For a longer game, you can have players score a total of 3 goals in a single game. Once a player finishes their current goal, they draw the next card and continue playing. The first player to reach 3 goals wins the game. If you wish for an easier game, instead of having 3 cards show up in the market, add an extra slot so that an extra card is showing. Finally, for a more chaotic game, add the Black Druid. The Black Druid is an NPC that changes gameplay up a bit. He may be played on any size board and requires the use of his North card and the Black Druid deck. To use the Black Druid, place the North card in an agreeable orientation on the board. The Black Druid cannot be moved by any player's effect and players may not be in the same terrain card as him. At the end of a player's turn, they draw from the Black deck and follow its instructions. His cards mainly tell the players if a Black Druid has any movement or effects on his turn. If the card instructs for him to move, the 8-sided die is used to determine which direction he is moving. If he lands in the space where another player is on, the player must move out to an adjacent terrain card. This will add a little bit more uncertainty to the game, but the game's main objective does not change. And that concludes the quick start tutorial for Terraforming the Druidic Craft. If you enjoyed and found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel, like and share this video, and leave a comment or question below. If you'd like to support us and if you like seeing more gaming videos, please visit our Patreon page. On behalf of the Cardboard Stacker team, happy gaming and remember to keep on stacking games.